Greetings to one and all, my fine fellows. Allow me to tell the tale of St. George and that most dire dragon. Without further ado, let us commence. Of Hector's deeds did Homer sing, and of the sack of stately Troy, what griefs fair Helena did bring, which was Sir Pallas's only joy. And with my pen I will recite St. George's deeds. An English knight. Against the Saracens so rude, he fought full long and many a day, where many a giant he subdued in honour of the Christian way. And after many adventures past, to Egypt land he came at last. Now as the story plain doth tell, within that country there did rest a dreadful dragon, fierce and fell, whereby they were full sore oppressed, who by his poisonous breath each day did many of the city slay. The grief whereof did grow so great throughout the limits of the land, that they their wise men did entreat to show their cunning out of hand, what way they might this fiend destroy, that did this country thus annoy. The wise men all before the king thus answered, famed incontinent, this dragon none to death might bring, by any means they could invent. His skin more hard than brass was found, that sword nor spear could pierce nor wound. When this the people understood, they cried out most piteously, the dragon's breath infects their blood, that every day in heaps they die. Among them such a plague as bred, the living could scarce bury the dead. No means there were, as they could hear, for to appease the dragon's rage, but to present some virgin clear, whose blood his fury might assuage. Each day he would a maiden eat, for to allay his hunger greet. This thing by art the wise men found, which truly must observe it be, where throughout the city round a virgin pure of good degree was by the king's commission still taken up to serve the dragon's will. Thus did the dragon every day untimely crop some virgin flower, till all the maids were worn away. And none were left him to devour, saving the king's fair daughter bright, fair Sabrina, her father's only heart's delight. Then came the officers to the king, that heavy message to declare, which did his heart with sorrow sting. She is, quoth he, my kingdom's heir. Oh, let us all be poisoned here, ere she should die, that is my dear. Then rose the people presently, and to the king in rage they went. They said his daughter dear should die, the dragon's fury to prevent. Our daughters are all dead, quoth they, and have been made the dragon's prey. And by their blood we rescued were, and thou hast saved thy life thereby, and now in sooth it is but fair, for us thy daughter so should die. O save my daughter, said the king, and let me feel the dragon's sting. Then fell fair Sabra on her knee, and to her father dear did say, O father, strive not thus for me, but let me be the dragon's prey. It may be for my sake alone this plague upon the land was thrown. "'Tis better I should die," she said, "than all your subjects perish quite. Perhaps the dragon here was laid for my offence to work his spite. And after he hath sucked my gore, your land shall fear the grief no more. What hast thou done, my daughter dear, for to deserve this heavy scourge? It is my fault, as may appear, which makes the gods our state to purge. Then ought I die to stint the strife, and to preserve thy happy life." Like madmen all the people cried, "Thy death to us can do no good, for safety only doth abide in making her the dragon's food." "Lo, here I am. I come," quoth she, "therefore do what you wilt with me." "Nay, stay, dear daughter," quoth the queen, "and as thou art a virgin bright, what hast for virtue famous been, so let me clothe thee all in white, and crown thy head with flowers sweet, an ornament for virgins meet." And when she was attired so, according to her mother's mind, unto the stake she then did go. To which her tender limbs they bind, and being bound to stake a thrall, she bade farewell unto them all. "Farewell, my father dear," quoth she, "and my sweet mother, meek and mild. Take you no thought nor weep for me, for you may have another child. Since for my country's good I die, death I receive most willingly." The king and queen and all their train, with weeping eyes, they went their way. And let their daughter there remain to be the hungry dragon's prey. But as she did there weeping lie, behold! St. George came riding by, and seeing there a lady bright, so rudely tied up to a stake, as well as became a valiant knight, he straight to her his way did take. Tell me, sweet maiden, then quoth he, what caitiff thus abuseth thee? And lo, by Christ's cross I vow, which here is figured on my breast, I will revenge it on his brow, and break my lance upon his chest. And speaking thus, whereas he stood, the dragon issued forth from the wood. The lady that did first espy the dreadful dragon coming so, unto St. George aloud did cry, and willed him away to go. Here comes that cursed fiend, quoth she, that soon will make an end of me. St. George then looked around about, the fiery dragon did espied, and like a knight of courage stout, against him he most did fiercely ride, and with such blows he did him greet, he fell beneath the horse's feet. For with his lance that was so strong, as he came gaping in his face, in at his mouth he thrust along, for he could pierce no other place. And thus within the lady's view, this mighty dragon straight he slew. The saviour of his poisoned breath could do this holy knight no harm. Thus he the lady saved from death, and home he led her by the arm. Which when King Ptolemy did sing, there was great mirth and melody. And here endeth the first part of the tale of St. George. I hope you enjoyed it. Curtain down. Cut it. Switch that off.